We're going to bring in our political power panel for today. We've got Juana Summers, national political reporter for Politico, MSNBC contributor Jimmy Williams, and Freire, editor of Doublethink magazine. It's great to see all of you this morning. JP, I want to start with you because President Obama is going to be out there pressing the auto bailout and how it helped in states like Ohio, as you just heard there, Ben talking about the fact that, 1 in 8 jobs, they're touched by the auto industry in Ohio. That has an appeal with working class whites who are looking at Mitt Romney and saying that he was against that. So how is Romney going to be able to be out there and counter that argument?
I think one thing is that he can tout the record of the Republican Party in those states. First off, you have the fact that Ohio and Pennsylvania are run by Republican governors who've tried pro-growth policies, and that Romney will continue to support these governors and not be in opposition to them the same way that President Obama has been trying to undermine those policies.
Joe, Jimmy, I want to bring up Joe the plumber. And don't roll your eyes at me. He's running for Congress.
He is.
And he told ABC News that the president should be embarrassed to go to Ohio, given the economics of the state of things there. When we talk about the economics of the state of things there, the state of Ohio actually has an unemployment under the national average. In May, it was 7.3%, 7.4% in Pennsylvania, where the president will go tomorrow. What does the president need to do to counteract the real economic anxiety out there? It does exist. It's not a falsity.
Well, I think he should do exactly what he is doing, which is talking about what he's going to do in his next term for the presidency. There's a diversification between what Obama is talking about from a positive perspective and what Romney is doing all across the country, which is saying, woe is me, woe is the country. And I'll give you proof of this. This morning in the Weekly Standard, which is a conservative publication, William Kristol actually said about his own nominee, Mitt Romney, that he's not for something. He's only against Barack Obama. He's only against, quote, the bad economy, that he needs to be for something. And so what you do see is a huge diversification between Barack Obama, who's talking about things that he's doing, for example, the WTO case against China, for example, the auto industry bailout, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what is Mitt Romney doing? Gloom and doom. That's a perception issue, and that is something that people in working class states like Ohio and Pennsylvania, they see, they feel, they understand it, and they can, quote, feel the pain. And we all remember what Bill Clinton, how he could connect with people. There's a difference between those two. It's a different vision.
Well, I want to pivot now to Mitt Romney and his health care switch. Here's the candidate in New Hampshire being confronted about the penalty versus the tax issue. Take a listen.
The Supreme Court is the final word, right? Isn't that the highest court in the land? They said it was a tax, didn't they? So it's a tax, of course. That's what they say it is.
Just to keep this all in context, on Monday, Romney advisor Eric Fernstrom said to Chuck Todd of where the mandate is a tax or a penalty, and Fernstrom said that Romney believes that what we put in place in Massachusetts was a penalty, and he disagrees with the court. Then on Tuesday, the RNC chair, Reince Priebus, said on CNN, our position is the same as Mitt Romney's position. It's a tax. And then yesterday from Romney, the majority of the court said it's a tax, and therefore it is a tax. Juana, is there anything or anyone out there that's properly managing the Romney message when it comes to how they really feel about the Supreme Court ruling? It seems as if they're caught awfully flat-footed on this.
Well, I'm certainly no campaign manager, but I think what the situation with the disparate comments from both the Romney campaign and the governor himself shows is how dangerous an issue health care is for this campaign. Obviously, the issue of the individual mandate, what Mitt Romney did in 2007 in Massachusetts, is the issue that brought the Tea Party to national prominence and possibly one of the most politically charged issues to date. It's something he has to be very careful with as you're looking forward, because now the Obama campaign, as you heard from Ben LeBold earlier, they're saying Mitt Romney doesn't stick to his guns. He's a flip-flopper. He's changing for political expediency, and that's certainly an image you don't want to see revive, obviously looking at the 2008 campaign.
JP, in your estimation, how does it not look like the tail is wagging the dog when it comes to Mitt Romney and his message on health care?
Well, I think the challenge is the fact that the Supreme Court came out with a ruling that it's the tax. The Democrats don't want to rule on the idea that they imposed a tax, so they want us to embrace the constitutionality of it while ignoring the rest of it. But the truth is that it's both a tax and a penalty, and so it's hard to communicate that to a lot of people who aren't that mired in health care policy. But the truth is this isn't a problem for the Romney campaign. In fact, this gives the Romney campaign an excellent opportunity to hit this president for going back on the promises that he made. He said that he wouldn't raise taxes. He said that he wouldn't even impose an individual mandate to begin with, both of which he went back on.
Does it look, though, that the president, in this situation against Mitt Romney, though, is staying on message with exactly what it is? Because as you hear from Ben LaBolt and his surrogates, that this is a penalty, JP, whereas what we see, what Mitt Romney gave in an op-ed in 09, I believe it is, in USA Today, also the fact that he had Eric Fernstrom come out before saying that he agreed with the president, technically Mitt Romney did, that this was a penalty and not a tax. I mean, it just seems very confusing to somebody that's not following along step by step.
Yes, it is very confusing, but let's be clear here. We didn't have a Supreme Court ruling in 2009. We do have one now, and the president and his campaign are choosing to ignore that and talk about how this isn't in fact a tax, even though Chief Justice Roberts did say it was.
So does that mean flip-flopping doesn't count if you're Monday morning quarterbacking flip-flopping?
It means that the president doesn't want to be called out for flip-flopping when, in fact, he's been doing that in his entire presidency.
Our Thursday Power Panel, Juana Summers, Jimmy Williams, JP Freire. Thanks to all three of you. I really appreciate it.